Good afternoon. You're looking at T-Mobile Park side of Game 5 tonight, and welcome to our Mariners pregame show here on King 5 Plus. As the ALCS heads into that Game 5, it has become a best-of-3 series. The Blue Jays evened things up last night with an 8-2 win at T-Mobile Park. Game 5s have grown to be very pivotal in a 7-game series. Now, history has shown when the ALCS has been tied at 2 games apiece, the winner of Game 5 has gone on to win the series 15 of 21 times. Speaking of 21, that's how many runs the Blue Jays have scored in the last 2 games. That lineup is cranking. Pretty routine day today at the ballpark. This afternoon, both teams getting in their pregame work. Mariners manager Dan Wilson looking for a spark on offense, so he's changing things up. Julio Rodriguez will bat in the leadoff spot today, his first time batting there since July 28th. With Julio in the leadoff spot, Randy Arozarena drops to 5th in the order. Randy's been struggling, hitting just 158 this postseason. The only other move, Jorge Polanco moves up a spot to 3rd in the lineup. He will be the DH today. As far as the pitching goes, Dan Wilson will hand the ball to Bryce Miller. He has been tough, giving up just 2 runs in 2 starts. Miller beat the Jays in Game 1, 1 run over 6 innings of work.
Yeah, I think the last 2 weeks, everything's felt really good. Body, elbow, everything's felt really good the last couple weeks. And then plus, you factor in playoffs. Last 2 games have been on the road, so get a little extra adrenaline. It helps a lot when body's feeling good. And I'm happy with where the elbow and my body feels right now.
Bryce, with your start, you had a chance to see just by doing it what was effective against this Blue Jays lineup, and you've also had a couple games now to see what else is effective and what hasn't worked. How can that, just kind of different levels of performances kind of help you for your next start here tomorrow?
Yeah, it's a little different, throwing to the same team in 5 days, and the only time I've done that is in the minor leagues with the new minor league schedule. But they were swinging it really well against the Yankees, and we slowed them down. And then yesterday they were swinging it really good. So I don't know. I don't want to say too much on game plan or anything, but I just gotta study how I threw the other day and what works and what doesn't work, and go out and attack.
Bryce Miller and the Mariners pitching staff will have their hands full tonight. As Blue Jays have racked up 29 hits and 21 runs over the last 2 games. Let's go out to Alex McClune now with the fans outside T-Mobile Park. Alex?
Hey, Paul, we're going to get a temperature check out here. Some Mariners fans, at least on Instagram, the comments range from pessimistic to maybe borderline angry after losing both games at home, coming off those 2 huge games in Toronto. Let's get a vibe check out here. I like this guy's jacket. Hey, you're live on King 5 right now. Getting a vibe check about how you feel. Lost both home games in this series after 2 big wins in Toronto. How are you feeling going into tonight?
I feel good going into tonight. It's 2-2. It's a 3-game series now. You look at what they did with the Astros earlier in the summer, early in the fall. Just go in. Today is a new day. Like Cal says, flush it, forget it. I've been taking a lot of inspiration from the players themselves, like the way that they've been approaching, each game in and game out. It's really professional. And man, it's just awesome seeing so many Mariner fans out. I'm up from San Francisco. I lived in Seattle for almost a decade. They had the magical season this year. Like, you gotta come up. So I'm up today with my buddy. We flew in this morning, and I used to always turn the corner here, like driving home, Columbia City. Like, it's just good. As Gino says, Gino Suarez, good vibes only. You gotta love it. You gotta love these guys. So
Good vibes only. What's your name?
Maddie Live.
Maddie. What are you and your friends? How are your friends feeling? I mean, after the past 2 games, it's been brutal. The Jays have been striking back. I mean, you're optimistic. How are your friends feeling?
I'm just glad that they are giving us a competitive series after the first 2 games. I've had friends who are doing like vision board, collages. Shout out Brittany Bush, prominent local Mariner fan. I date back to like the Maple Grove days with James Paxton. It is awesome. Just like this is a baseball city. It's always been here. The Felix days, the Ichiro days, like you're just seeing it all come to the surface. And I think Game 5, I mean, 1 week ago, where were we? It's giving me chills right now. Game 5. So.
And now it's the Cal Raleigh era, like you said, Maddie.
Julio, it's such a great group. JP, I mean,
the list goes on and on. Hey, Maddie, we're gonna let you get inside. Thanks for chatting it up.
Love these guys. Go M's.
Lots to say out here. Thank you, Maddie. Enjoy the game, Paul. That's how one fan feels. Go Mariners. Curious how you feel about this based on what you've seen so far.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of like sitting there listening to Maddie. I thought he was going to go through every slogan the Mariners had over the last 2 decades. Refuse to lose, got to love these guys, all that stuff. But fans are excited about this one. Listen, this is a team that has bounced back all season long. Dan Wilson expects them to bounce back one more time at least tonight and take Game 5. Again, winners of Game 5 in the ALCS have went on to win the series 15 of 21 times. We've talked about the changes that Dan Wilson has made to the lineup. Here he is today in front of the press.
Dan, Gabe, George, a couple pitchers this series have talked about, continuing to stay aggressive, continuing to stay who you are, also, making better pitches and kind of just looking at what went wrong and what went right. Just how do you guys balance sticking to the game plan while also, looking at film and making the adjustments where you have to?
Yeah, that's the nuts and bolts of it. That's sort of the line of scrimmage, so to speak, is making the proper adjustments. And we've talked so much about Woody and Trent all season long and just the job they do and how they prepare our guys. And we talk about how hard our guys work and they're willing to make the adjustments. And, that's really where it all comes down to it. And I know these guys will do it and making quality strikes in the zone, getting ahead is the key. And once, I think we've done that to some degree and when we haven't, then we've been able, they've been able to take advantage of that. So, we continue to make adjustments and I know our guys will be able to do that and they've done it all season long.
We'll stay in the front with Mike.
Dan, at the plate, given the last couple of games, where are you at with the state of the offense, the at-bats being taken, and the adjustments that you have to make here for Game 5? Yeah,
I mean, I think, again, yesterday we were able to get some guys on, not able to get them in consistently. I think, when we're at our best, we're grinding out at-bats one after the other and seeing a lot of pitches and getting deep into counts and making that pitcher work and drawing walks and whatever we can do to get on base. And I think that's where we're at, and that's where we need to continue to do and find ways to do that more consistently. And then once we do that, being able to get them in. And, we have hit some home runs in this series, which has been good. But again, to have a more consistent offense, it takes, I think, hitting home runs as well as sort of scoring traditionally, and that's when we're going to be at our best. So being able to do both is where we need to get to.
Go to the second row, middle, Shannon.
Dan, how has Brian Wu been prepared to come out of the pen, and what was kind of his input in that as well? I know he did actually relieve a lot in college.
Yeah. I think, again, just, learning from other guys, being down there the last couple nights and understanding the ins and outs of it, having done it in the All-Star game. I think there's some experience there to draw on. But until it happens, I think, that's when it'll really work for him. But I think he's going to be as prepared as possible. And whether that happens today or in Game 6, that remains to be seen. But I know Brian, and I think at the end of the day, you need to be prepared physically for sure, but also mentally, and that's where he's really thrived this year on the mound is just that mental side of things, and I know he'll be in the right spot when he gets out there.
Go over on your right here, Curtis.
Dan, we know the potency of Toronto's offense when they get going. I think it's 29 hits over the last 2 games. When you look at the collective of that, a lot of extra base hits, hard hit balls, what are you seeing from the pitches they're getting to? Is there lacking execution that you guys are seeing? Like, where is it coming from in your mind that the hits are kind of piling up against you at this stage?
I think, when you're able to do some things offensively as they have, they've hit some pitches that were on the plate, and we talked about that a little bit. They've also hit some pitches, that were good pitches that they were, able to get to and put into play, and that's what that team does. And they've done a little bit of both, and they've been able to put together a more consistent approach than they were able to do in the first couple of games of the series. So, our objective is to continue making good pitches, getting ourselves into good counts, getting weak contact when possible, and striking guys out when possible. So that's going to remain the same, and our guys are going to be able to execute that going forward.
We'll go back to the middle, Taryn.
Today, you guys, last couple of days, you had to face Bieber and Scherzer, who you hadn't seen this season. Now you're back to Gausman, who you've already seen. How can that, in this postseason, when you guys have faced pitchers you've already seen, you've managed to get the better of them, execute the game plan better? How do you think that could help you guys today?
Yeah, I think that is helpful for sure, and our guys have learned from the first time facing him in Toronto, and obviously with his repertoire, a lot of sliders to the righties, a lot of splits to the lefties, and I think getting him up in the zone is going to be a key for us again today. We talked about it the last time, and making him get in the zone and hopefully finding a mistake there and doing damage to it. So, again, that familiarity is super helpful in game planning. It's super helpful in their preparation as they get ready to, get in the batter's box. And I think we'll be in good shape offensively today.
Interesting point there by Dan Wilson. A lot of the players feel the same way. It's not only facing the starter again and getting a second shot at him, but it's also facing relievers. Just at the same time, the Mariners used 5 relievers in last night's game. So the Blue Jays, and before that, the Tigers even said, being able to see relievers time and again throughout a series gets you a little bit more comfortable with what they're going to throw you. So, again, that's an advantage for both sides to see each other's pitchers for a second time. Washington State's legislators they're never going to be as popular as the Mariners, but 30 years ago this week, lawmakers delivered the clutch hit, ensuring the Mariners were not going anywhere. King 5's Drew Mickelson reports.
While the boys of summer were refusing to lose inside the Kingdom,
I believe we'll have just a terrible void here in the summer.
U.S. Senator Slade Gordon was leading another battle across King County in 1995, a push to raise the sales tax to help pay for a new retractable roof ballpark.
This is an important investment for our future. It means jobs, it means tax revenues.
You have to understand, when we started that campaign, we really were in the tank. We were 35 points down.
Sue Tupper managed the Hometown Fan Stadium campaign. The Mariners said without a new park, they'd leave town. And Tupper says that was not just a threat.
No, it was real. No, it was, we either get this done or they were going to be gone.
Refuse to lose was not just about a game or a series of games. It was about losing the franchise.
Former PI sports columnist Art Thiel was there for it all. He wrote a book on how close the M's came to leaving.
The players were being handed information about Tampa Bay real estate, condos and apartments.
But on election night, right in the middle of that pennant race, the stadium's bond measure was winning by 4,000 votes.
This is to all of you. You did this work. It's just amazing. It's amazing.
And then my numbers guy pulled me to the side and he said, this is great, but it's a little tighter than we wish. I was like, what do you mean?
When all the ballots were counted, though, the measure went down, once again putting the team's future in jeopardy. But then came the double. The hit that knocked the Yankees out, nearly blew the roof off the stadium, and gave those new stadium backers newfound momentum.
The King County Council has asked the governor to call a special session of the state legislature.
So another refuse to lose campaign played out, this time in Olympia.
Mr. Speaker, the Senate has passed and engrossed House Bill number 2115.
Following a 3-day special session, legislators came up with stadium funding, relying mostly on entertainment and rental car taxes.
Baseball is important to the Northwest. It's important to Washington State. This package, refinement of yesterday's version, is very good. And as Dave Niehaus would say, my oh my!
Mr. Speaker, there are 66 yeas, 24 nays.
I'm really proud of the fact that we waged that battle. We've got that stadium.
That's Sue Tupper, right next to Mariners manager Lou Piniella. The thankful team invited her group to the Kingdome to throw out the first pitch during those 1995 playoffs, just days after the law passed. 4 years later, the Kingdome came down and Safeco opened. The Mariners were finally safe at home.
It is, I think, a real crown jewel for us in our community. And the team, my God, I mean, you gotta love them. Go Mariners, right? All the way.
Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
Can't say enough about those days back at the Kingdome when the fans would just pack that place and made it so loud in there. It was just echoing. And you look across the street at this beautiful ballpark they have now, and it is definitely one of the top 5 ballparks, maybe even top 3 in all of Major League Baseball. Teams love coming here, and fans love coming to visit. Coming up, Ariel Ursuto will join us from the ballpark, and we'll hear from Edgar Martinez. That's next on the Mariners pregame show here on King 5 Plus. Welcome back to the Mariners pregame show here on King 5 Plus. First pitch coming up at 3:08, so we are closing in fast. Let's head over to T-Mobile Park where Ariel Ursuto joins us. Ariel?
Hey, Paul, there are just so many parallels from this year's team to some of the other teams of the past, especially that 95 team. But, you know, we've seen a lot of things so far between these two teams. This one specifically, though, they just don't want the same things to happen where they get so far and they just can't go any further, where they can't get over the edge of the ALCS into that World Series. Earlier today, we talked to Edgar Martinez, and he brought up Dan Wilson. That is the specific thing that carries over from that first generation into this one, where he was on that 95, the 2000, 2001 team, and now he's the manager now. He said before, he had such a good communication with all of the pitchers on those teams back when he was the catcher. He continues that communication now as the manager, and that's what he believes is the key, that he's going to be able to communicate to his team to really get them over that edge. He also said that there's a lot of similarities between what he saw from his team to this one, and he compared one particular player to himself.
Yeah, it's been incredible run, and it's a great feeling to see this team doing what it's been doing, and it's just very, very special to see what's going on. This is the first time that we are in this situation. Like, we've been in the American League Championship Series before, but this time we have 2 wins and 2 more to go. So it's a great feeling, very special.
Edgar, 30 years ago, you had the base hit, the walk-off double to win the American League Division Series against the Yankees. 30 years later, you saw Jorge Polanco with the base hit to win in the bottom of the 15th inning. Did that bring back from flashbacks for you? And what was it like for you to see that 30 years later, to have Polanco get that base hit?
Yeah, it's been so similar, the 1995 and this year, September, it looks very similar. The way we played in 1995, chasing the Angels, and this year, Houston, and we're in this situation. And then we have Polanco, his performance this year, in driving the winning run against Detroit to advance to the American League Championship Series. So similar. And it just brought those memories from 1995. And we just hope, that we go even farther this year.
Edgar, Jorge Polanco has credited you quite a bit with what he has done this year and really understanding the approach and committing it to it. What is some of the work that you've done with him, and how have you seen that play out in what he has done?
Well, I think that what Polanco have done is pretty amazing, and credit to him. He made some adjustments with his swing during the off season. If you see him in last year, he was open with his stance. This year, a little closer. His hands, since they are in different positions right now, he's very short to the ball and more direct to the ball, and that's all him. He's very good at knowing his swing and knowing what he needs to do to improve it. And all the things that I talked to him and to the rest of the guys, it's about the approach and the planning and things like that. But his swing, he knows it very well, and he can make adjustments from one at-bat to the next. And that's all credit to him.
You heard him talking about the adjustments that Polanco has made so far. Well, he also talked about the adjustments that Cal Raleigh has made to become a better hitter. He said he's always been a power hitter, a powerful hitter, but now he's just a really good hitter with power. He said a few adjustments that he's made have created the way that he's been playing so far this season to make him the way that he's been playing, to get him to that 60 home run threshold that he had in the regular season, to get him to the way that he's playing in this postseason. And then Cal said that Cal really can't be fooled by a lot of pitchers, and when they do make mistakes, well, he punishes them, and he's been punishing them to the tune of the amount of hits that he's had so far, getting on base in almost every single one of these postseason games, and just playing at a really phenomenal like he has, leading them so far this postseason. Paul?
That's a good point. When the Mariners have been at their best in the postseason, Cal and Julio come through and they rack up those hits, and they're going to need that again tonight in Game 5. The Mariners are playing in their 4th ALCS. Now, the other previous 3 ALCS the championship series in 95, 2000, 2001. The Mariners have never won 3 games in those series. So they're looking for the first time to win a 3rd game in the ALCS for the first time. It's been nearly a quarter century since the Mariners' record-breaking 2001 season, a year that ended just 1 step shy of the World Series. Now, as Seattle makes another deep playoff run, fans who remember that moment say it still feels just as electric.
Mariners fans are hopeful the Soto mojo of the past will help the team seize the moment. The Fix family of Tacoma remembers the last time the Mariners were in the ALCS. It's the same year their son was born.
The doctor said, do you have any names for him? Or if it's a boy, what are you going to name him? And we were jokingly said Ichiro. And then when he was born, she said, we got us an Ichiro, so she unofficially named him.
Today, more than 2 decades later, they paid $283 each for standing room only tickets. A far cry from 2001. Back then, fans paid $65 and $85 for an ACLS single game ticket.
They're going to be really hard to get because, it's been sold out here for so long. So it's going to be difficult, but we're going to do everything we can to get them.
Back then, lines stretched out a Northwest Ticketmaster vendor inside Tower Records for wristbands, allowing them to wait in line to buy tickets. A seat was not guaranteed.
We're going all the way. It's all the way. We're winning the World Series. We're going to go 4 straight in the World Series.
The Mariners did not go all the way. They were eliminated on the road by the Yankees, but this year is different.
It's a new day, new pitcher. You just brush it off.
I mean, it's really up to, as I like to say, the 9 men on the diamond whose performance directly determines the state of my mental health.
And the Fix family, their playoff baby, is now a 24-year-old man.
So he's fully, full adult, graduated college, and never seen any of this since he was literally born. So it's incredible.
Solomon Ichiro Fix is ready to play ball as a lifetime of hope rests on this series.
Say what you want, man. Being inside that stadium when there's 47,000 fans watching that baseball game, that is the place to be, and that is certainly the place to be tonight for Game 5. Here's another look at the starting pitchers. Bryce Miller will go for the Mariners. The Jays will go with the right-hander who matched up with Miller in Game 1 and took the loss in Toronto. Kevin Gausman is 1-1 in the playoffs, having beaten the Yankees. The M's got to Gausman for 2 runs over 5 2/3 innings, enough to take the loss in Seattle's 3-1 win.
Kevin, I know you kind of have your pitches and they're your pitches, but how does it change for you facing the same lineup kind of twice in a short period like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's more so about, moving around the pitches. Like you said, I only have 3 of them, so, I'm not going to throw curveballs tomorrow. Like, I'm going to pitch the same way I have been all year. But there is a level of, knowing that these guys are going to make an adjustment from Game 1 to Game 5. And so it's more so just really kind of in-game, seeing their approach. And you have a mindset going in of what you're going to do, but, sometimes you get punched in the face in the first and you got to change your mindset. And so you kind of saw that with Shane yesterday. I thought he did a great job of obviously coming back, and I joked with him after the game. He took this place to 120 and then took it to 0. It was a really cool performance for him and huge for our team. So it was really fun to watch.
We'll see how Gausman does tonight against that Mariners lineup, which has been tweaked a bit by manager Dan Wilson. Let's head out to Ariel as we get closer and closer to first pitch.
Yeah, we've got the national anthem being played right now, so we are getting really close to first pitch. They can make all the plans they want, but they know that it is just every single game that matters at this point. Cal Raleigh knows that they just need to get the job done tonight.
We knew it wasn't going to be easy, so it's just about, keeping a level head, understanding, don't get too high, don't get too low, and understand now it's a best of 3. So, go out tomorrow, forget it, flush it, and come back ready to go.
Confidence in Bryce getting named the starter tomorrow. Just your thoughts on what you've been seeing from him in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, we have confidence in all our guys. So Bryce obviously threw great in the first game. So have to come up with a good game plan tomorrow and try to keep them at bay and get a few runs on the board.
Obviously, getting a win here tonight would put them in a really great position going on the road, only needing one more back in Toronto. But we know that they obviously got 2 in Toronto. They were able to steal them in the first 2 games. So anything can happen when they get there, but a little bit of cushion could help. Paul?
All right, thank you, Ariel. Yeah, you listen to Cal Raleigh, you listen to some of the other Mariners in the clubhouse after these games, and everybody's kind of keeping that even keel. They know exactly what's at stake here. They don't want to get too high or too low. We heard Dan Wilson earlier today. Brian Wu is going to be in the pen. Not sure if they're going to use him or not tonight, and he's really not sure who's going to start in Game 6. But Wu is a starting pitcher, so he, as Dan said, had to learn a few things from the guys, the relievers out there in the pen, how to prepare and how to get ready. So a lot to look forward to tonight. Again, the winner of Game 5 in an ALCS when it's tied 2-2 has gone on to win the series 15 of 21 times. We'll see how the Mariners do tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you after the game.